All right, welcome. Today we're going to crack open one of the oldest, most foundational texts in all of human history. We're going to figure out the incredible story it tells, not so much about people, but about the entire universe itself.
No, really, just think about it for a second. What comes to mind? Maybe the Epic of Gilgamesh? Homer's Iliad? I mean, those are amazing works, incredibly ancient by any measure. But today we're going even further back.
Yup, we are diving headfirst into the Rigveda. It's this massive collection of over 1,000 hymns, all composed in a really archaic form of Sanskrit. And these things aren't just old. They are a direct window into a worldview from more than 3,000 years ago. So, to make sense of this whole cosmic drama, here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll figure out what the Rigveda actually is. Then we'll meet the main characters, Agni, Indra, this concept of Rita, and Soma. And finally, we'll put all the pieces together to really get our heads around this ancient way of seeing the world.
Okay, so let's get into it. The very first thing you have to understand is that the Rigveda was never meant to be, read quietly in a library. It was a manual, a blueprint for doing things.
And that's the absolute key. This is not a history book. It's not a list of rules like the Ten Commandments. It is a script, a collection of powerful words meant to be spoken out loud during very specific rituals. The whole point of these hymns was to talk to the gods and actively help keep the universe running.
So that brings up a pretty big question, right? If you need to help maintain the universe, how do you even get a message to the gods? You can't just shout. You need a hotline, a special connection. And that brings us to the first act in this cosmic plot, making contact.
So, the very first hymn of the entire collection kicks off right here. It introduces our first main character, Agni. Now that name might sound familiar. It's the Sanskrit word for fire. But trust me, Agni is so much more than just a flame.
Think of Agni as the cosmic postman, the divine internet connection. The smoke from the sacrificial fire literally rises from the earth up towards the heavens. So Agni becomes the perfect symbol and the perfect vehicle for carrying messages, which are the hymns, and gifts, the offerings, from our world to the world of the gods. Without Agni, there's no connection. Game over.
The text also brings up this key idea of the Hotar. That's the title for the human priest who's actually reciting the hymns. But here's what's so cool. The Rigveda says Agni is the ultimate Hotar. He isn't just delivering the message. He is the messenger, the medium, and the high priest all rolled into one. He's the essential first step in this whole cosmic transaction.
Okay, so Agni has opened the line of communication. The gods can hear us. Now the main story can really get going. And for that, we need a hero. So, enter Indra. He's the king of the gods, the god of storms and thunder, and he's the star of the Rigveda's central action sequence.
And of course, every hero needs a villain, right? Indra has a bunch of them. The most famous one is Vritra, this huge serpent or dragon. But these aren't just random monsters. They represent something terrifying. They are the embodiment of chaos. All the forces of drought, darkness, and scarcity that threaten to wipe out life. And this slide just lays out the core drama of the Rigveda perfectly. On one side, you have the problem. The dragon Vritra has coiled himself around the mountains, which are really a metaphor for clouds, and he's hoarding all the world's water. On the other side, the solution. Indra, juiced up on a special divine drink we'll talk about in a minute, grabs his thunderbolt, smashes the mountains, slays the dragon, and releases the waters. And those waters become the life-giving rivers. It's a cosmic battle for survival, and it has to be won over and over again. So, all this fighting, it raises a bigger question. A hero fighting chaos is great, but what are they fighting for? Well, they're fighting to protect the fundamental order of the universe, a principle the Vedic people called Rita.
Rita is one of the most important ideas in the whole Rigveda. It's not a god, it's a principle. You can think of it like the laws of physics and morality all rolled into one. It's basically the source code for reality. Rita is the reason things work the way they do, why the universe makes sense, and isn't just, random chaos.
And you don't just have to believe in Rita, you can see it everywhere. The sun comes up every single day, the seasons always follow each other in the right order, rivers always flow down to the sea. This regularity, this beautiful predictability, that's Rita in action. So when Indra defeats Vritra, he's not just making it rain, he is restoring Rita. He's making sure the universe keeps operating according to its proper, life-sustaining design.
But wait a minute, how does this all actually work? I mean, Indra is super powerful, but fighting cosmic dragons has got to take a lot of energy. And this is where humanity's role becomes absolutely crucial. We have to provide the fuel.
Meet Soma. It's basically a divine energy drink. It comes from this mysterious mountain plant, and its juice, when it's prepared in a very specific way, becomes a substance that just fills the gods with power. It's what gives Indra the strength he needs to go into battle. Soma is so important that an entire book of the Rigveda is just hymns about it. And making it was a huge deal. It was this incredibly careful ritual. The plant was gathered, it was crushed between special stones, filtered through wool, mixed with other things like milk. This whole process, done by human priests chanting these ancient hymns, is what transformed a physical plant into a divine substance that could literally power the cosmos.
So let's put this all together now. What kind of a worldview does this whole cosmic plot reveal? Well, it's a vision of the universe as this dynamic, living system that needs constant upkeep. It doesn't just run on its own.
Man, this one line says everything. For the people of the Rigveda, the altar where the sacrifice happened wasn't just some random place. It was the center of the world. It was the nexus point between humanity and the gods. It was the engine room of the cosmos, where the real work of keeping reality going was actually done.
So here is the biggest takeaway of all. The worldview of the Rigveda is not about passive worship. It's a grand, cooperative mission. Humans perform the sacrifice. Agni delivers the offering. The priests prepare the Soma. Soma gives Indra his power. Indra defeats chaos. Rita is restored, and the waters of life and prosperity flow for everyone. In this story, humanity isn't just sitting in the audience watching the show. They are essential actors in the cosmic plot.
And that kind of leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? This ancient text shows a world where people used precise rituals and powerful words to bring order from chaos. And it makes you wonder, how do we do that today? What are the forces of chaos that we face, and what are the hymns, the rituals we use to try and make our world a better, more orderly, more prosperous place? Something to think about. Thanks for joining me.